The Boston Celtics should be losing sleep. While they're celebrating their current season, their biggest Eastern Conference threat is reportedly circling 3 acquisitions that could turn the rivalry into a bloodbath. And the Celtics know it. According to James L. Edwards III of The Athletic, the New York Knicks have their sights set on Jose Alvarado, Keon Ellis, and Ochai Agbaji before the February 6 deadline. For Boston, this isn't just concerning, it's potentially catastrophic. The Knicks already eliminated the Celtics in last year's second round, and they're currently breathing down Boston's neck in the standings. Any upgrade makes them more dangerous. Here's the gut punch. Alvarado is exactly what crushes the Celtics' offensive rhythm. The undrafted Georgia Tech product, 2021 ACC Defensive Player of the Year, has built a reputation as the NBA's most irritating pest, averaging 1.2 steals while applying relentless full-court pressure. Against Boston's ball handlers, he'd be a nightmare, especially when Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum face playoff-intensity defense. Edwards notes Alvarado is one of those infectious players whose energy radiates throughout the group, precisely what championship-contending teams need in April and May. The financial math works disturbingly well for New York. Just Guerschon Yabusele, plus second-rounders, could land Alvarado. While Edwards questions whether other teams might offer more, the Pelicans' fire sale mentality makes this realistic. For a Celtics team that struggled with New York's physicality last postseason, adding another defensive demon to Tom Thibodeau's rotation is the last thing they need. But Boston's problems multiply if the Knicks also snag Ellis or Agbaji, both high-level perimeter defenders who'd give New York even more versatility in switching schemes that suffocated the Celtics before. Ellis, Sacramento's emerging stopper, and Agbaji, Toronto's athletic wing, represent the kind of depth additions that transform good teams into juggernauts. The Celtics can't make a counter-move. They're capped out, luxury tax to oblivion, and watching their rival potentially get better. The Boston Celtics are thriving at 23-13, but beneath their success lurks a ruthless reality. Nobody's job is safe. Josh Minott, once a rotation staple averaging 5 points and 6.8 rebounds early this season, has been brutally exiled, collecting 4 straight DNP CDs before an ankle injury sidelined him further. His fall exposes the savage competition defining Joe Mazzulla's bench. Minott's demise wasn't gradual, it was swift. After earning 9 starts and featuring prominently through November, the 23-year-old forward hit the scrap heap by December 22nd. What happened? 3 players buried him: Jordan Walsh's defensive eruption, Luka Garza's rebounding resurgence, and Hugo Gonzalez's steady wing play created an impossible minute squeeze that left Minott watching helplessly. Walsh replaced Minott in the rotation after the latter exited at halftime against Philadelphia on November 11th. Since then, Walsh has helped Boston go 10-2 as a starter, averaging 1.3 steals and 0.8 blocks while shooting 58-46-81. The 21-year-old's elite defense, he held Tyrese Maxey to 1 of 9 shooting, made him untouchable. Meanwhile, Garza's 9 offensive rebounds against Toronto on December 20th earned him Mazzulla's respect and cemented his backup center role, where he's averaging 10.7 points and 5.9 rebounds on 67.6% shooting over his last 6 games. The Celtics' depth became Minott's death sentence. Boston's small ball lineups, featuring Walsh, Gonzalez, and Sam Hauser, thrived offensively while Garza's physicality solved rebounding woes that Minott's 6'8", 205-pound frame couldn't address against bigger opponents. Wednesday's Nuggets loss, where Denver had no traditional center, should have been Minott's moment, but his ankle injury kept him sidelined. Without him available, Mazzulla leaned on Garza despite pace concerns, revealing where Minott ranks in the pecking order. The mailbag question about whether Brad Stevens should trade Tatum is absurd, but it reveals fan anxiety about roster construction, with Walsh, Gonzalez, and Minott fighting for wing minutes, while Garza and Neemias Queta anchor the front court. Boston faces luxury tax hell and zero roster flexibility. Minot will need a Walsh-level defensive showcase or injury catastrophe to reclaim his spot. Until then, he's stuck in basketball purgatory. Talented enough to contribute, expendable enough to bury. Giannis Antetokounmpo's declaration that he'll never request a trade and plans to stay in Milwaukee for his entire career just triggered Boston's worst-case scenario. The two-time MVP's loyalty doesn't signal stability, it signals war. With the Bucks languishing at 16-21 and sitting 11th in the Eastern Conference, Milwaukee must now aggressively upgrade around Giannis before February 6, and the Celtics' hottest trade asset sits squarely in their crosshairs. Enter Anfernee Simons, whose recent explosion has made him simultaneously invaluable to Boston and irresistible to Milwaukee. Simons just dropped 27 points, all in the second half, against Chicago, drilling 8 three-pointers to tie a Celtics franchise record for the threes and a half. Over his last 15 games, he owns the NBA's best plus-minus, Plumsl 1-68. And since December 1st, his 22.0 net rating leads all players, averaging 20-plus minutes. He's scorched January with 19 of 37 shooting, including 17 of 29 from deep, coinciding with Boston's 3-0 record in 2026. Here's where the Celtics get crushed. The Bucks desperately need exactly what Simons provides: elite scoring and three-point shooting to alleviate Giannis's burden. Despite missing 14 games, Antetokounmpo is averaging 29.5 points on 64.5% shooting with 10.0 rebounds and 5.5 assists, numbers matched only by Nikola Jokic. But Milwaukee hemorrhages games without secondary creation, and their top trade targets, Zach LaVine and Jeremy Grant, require gutting the roster. Simons' $27 million expiring contract offers financial flexibility and immediate impact. But Boston's hands are tied, their luxury taxed into oblivion with zero cap flexibility, unable to counterbid if Milwaukee offers first-round compensation. Meanwhile, the Bucks' desperation intensifies daily. Giannis's loyalty forces management to win-now mode, and Simons represents the perfect high-upside, low-commitment solution. If Milwaukee lands him, they transform into a legitimate Eastern Conference threat overnight, adding 40% plus three-point shooting to a frontcourt already featuring Giannis and Miles Turner. The Boston Celtics may have pulled off the heist of the decade, while the Atlanta Hawks' Kristaps Porzingis experiment spectacularly combusted after just 3 games alongside Trae Young before yesterday's blockbuster trade. Boston sits at 23-13, having dumped his $30.7 million albatross last July, right before his body betrayed him again. The timing couldn't have been more devastating for Atlanta. Porzingis was diagnosed with postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, POTS, an autonomic nervous system disorder causing heart rates to spike to 130 BPM when standing, during last season's Celtics playoff run, where he averaged a pathetic 7.7 points and 4.6 rebounds in just 21 minutes across 11 playoff games, leaving Boston essentially undermanned against New York in the second round. The Celtics, recognizing a medical catastrophe, offloaded him to Atlanta for Terrence Mann, Georges Niang, and a 2025 first-rounder, Drake Powell. Highway robbery in retrospect. Here's where the Celtics' brilliance becomes clear. The Porzingis-Young pairing was supposed to revolutionize Atlanta. Young historically is an offensively gifted guard, with serious defensive shortcomings due to lack of size and strength, and pairing him with one of the league's best shot blockers made theoretical sense. Instead, they managed just 3 games together, winning once. Porzingis' POTS, combined with Young's MCL sprain, destroyed any chemistry before it developed. For Boston, this validates everything. The Celtics recognized Porzingis' POTS wasn't manageable long-term, despite his high-salt diet and regimented rest schedule. While doctors crafted a plan to help him manage his condition without medication, his body kept failing. Brad Stevens' medical team saw the writing. Chronic autonomic dysfunction doesn't disappear in a 29-year-old with extensive injury history. Atlanta now owns basketball's worst-case scenario, Porzingis' expiring $30.7 million contract, attached to a player who might never stay healthy, paired with McCollum's $30.6 million expiring deal and Kispert's 3-year commitment.